Hey everybody, welcome back to another Thinking Thursday. Today, the plan's simple. We're going back, another two part twos in a row. But this time is another more difficult version of a past Thinking Thursday. Today, we're looking at some math problems. I know it might suck, but math is good for the brain. Everyone knows this. So, today, you may remember, and I'll show you in a couple seconds, but in the past we did a problem where we had shapes and we gave you the number and you had to figure out what the value of the shapes was. Today, we're taking that idea a step further, and instead of just addition, we're doing addition and multiplication for these numbers. Okay? So we're going to see if we can figure it out even though it's multiplication. We're going to see if we can have some fun with it too. Like always. So, let's get into it. Okay, so we've got all our problems laid out. Even color coordinated this week. I know. Production value is very great on these videos. I know. So, we're going to start up here with our first line because it's the only way it's possible to do. You have to go down in order. So, you see the multiplication? We have this, and we know that they're the same number. So, that means that the triangle can only be one answer, and we need to figure out what multiplies together to make 25. And now, if you really want your mind blown, this is you doing very basic algebra. So, congrats. You now know algebra if you did this. But what we need to do is we need to figure out what this would do, what number this has to be so that it can multiply itself to get to 25. And we know, since we know since we know multiplication, we know that the number that multiplies by itself to get to 25 is 5. So, we know this is 5, 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 and we know this is 5. We know those are all 5s. Okay. And then we move down to this next row. We're going to switch over to the green marker now. Here we see this is 50. So what times 5 equals 50? And yes, this is more algebra. I know. Look at you go. So, since we know about multiplication, we know about basic multiplication principles, we know that to get to 50 from 5, you would times it by 10, right? So this is 10, this is 10, and this is 10. Because you know that any number times 10, at 1 times 10 is 10, 2 times 10 is 20, 30, 40, so on, 50. The number times 10, you just add a 0 onto it at the end. We know this because we are very smart at math. So, this one gets a bit more tricky. This is easy though. This first part is quite easy because we know this is 5 and 10. And it's an addition symbol, so we know 5 plus 10 equals 15. So, now what we're looking at is 15 times circle equals 45. We need to figure out what circle could be that making 15 times it equals 45. So, we'll walk you through it. Basically, since this is a more difficult addition, or sorry, I did it again. This is more difficult multiplication. we're going to resort back to our basic knowledge of multiplication. And that is that multiplication is just adding this number together that many times. So, like if you have 10 times 5, you're doing 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, or however many would be 5 times. I didn't count in my head there. So, what we're going to do to solve this, because most of us don't know what would multiply by 15. We don't know our 15 times tables. So, what we're going to do to solve it is we're going to try to add 15 together until we get to 45. We're going to go 15, 30, and then what's 30? 30 plus 5, 35, and then 30, there's 10 left over. 30 plus 35 plus 10, 45. So, we went 15, 30, 45. That's 3. We take our blue marker and we put a 3 where that is. We put a 3 here so we remember. So, here we are at our final question, and we need to figure out what all of these numbers multiplied together gives us. So, the way we're going to do this, we're just going to go through it. We're going to go 3 times 5 equals 15. Simple. 5, 10, 15. 3. And now we're left with 15 times 10. And what is 15 times 10? Well, we can go back to what we did up here. We realized that multiplying something by 10 inevitably just adds on a 0 at the end of the number. So we go 1, 5, 0. 150. There you go. Multiplication times tables. Complete. Thinking Thursday. Complete. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Hope if you didn't learn something, you at least practiced something you already knew. Okay. We'll see you next week for another one. Thanks for watching.